The courtroom was packed, cameras rolling, every seat filled with reporters, legal scholars, and curious citizens who wanted to witness the showdown. It wasn't a trial, but it might as well have been a congressional oversight hearing that had taken on the drama of a primetime legal drama. At the center of it all, Judge Amul Thapar, a respected conservative voice on the federal bench, and Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, one of the most outspoken and fearless lawmakers in Washington. From the moment she walked in, Jasmine could feel the eyes on her. She was younger than many of her colleagues, newer to the national stage, and underestimated by nearly everyone who tried to go toe-to-toe with her. But that underestimation was always her secret weapon. She didn't just survive the fire, she thrived in it. As questioning began, Judge Thapar leaned forward, his glasses glinting under the lights. His voice was calm, but carried an edge, sharpened with years of courtroom precision. "Congresswoman Crockett," he began, "you speak often about fairness and justice, yet your record shows an alarming inconsistency. You choose which laws you elevate and which ones you conveniently ignore. Isn't that, in fact, proof that your vision of justice is subjective and therefore unfit to guide this nation?" Gasps rippled through the audience. The judge's tone wasn't just critical. It was meant to corner her, to box her into a contradiction she couldn't escape. Cameras zoomed in on her face, searching for cracks in her composure. But Jasmine didn't flinch. She folded her hands on the table, her eyes locking onto Thapar's with an intensity that made the room fall silent. For a moment, she let the weight of his words hang in the air. Then, she spoke. "Judge Thapar," she began, her voice steady but layered with conviction, "I find it ironic that you accuse me of picking and choosing when to honor justice. Because for millions of Americans, poor families, people of color, immigrants, women fighting for autonomy, justice has always been applied selectively. Not because of me, but because of a system that too often looks the other way when it comes to protecting them." The audience murmured, the power of her words cutting through the tension. But Thapar pressed on. "That sounds like an excuse. You speak in emotional terms. I'm asking about the law. The law doesn't bend to feelings, Congresswoman." That was the moment Jasmine leaned closer, her tone sharp but resonant, each word striking like a hammer. "And yet, Judge, history shows us that the law has bent not to feelings, but to power. The law once said women couldn't vote. The law once said segregation was legal. The law once said people who looked like me were less than human. Were those laws just, Judge? Or did it take people with the courage to challenge them, to call them out, to change them for this country to become better?" The room exploded in applause. Even those who had come to criticize her were on their feet, clapping, shouting, their energy electrifying the air. Thapar adjusted his glasses, visibly unsettled. He had expected rhetoric, but what he got was history, unshakable and undeniable. He tried once more, his tone tightening. "Congresswoman, passion doesn't change facts." And then Jasmine delivered the line that ended the clash instantly. She sat back, her voice clear and unwavering. "No, Judge, passion doesn't change facts. But facts without compassion are nothing but cold words on paper. Justice is not just what's written in books, it's what's lived in people's lives. And until the law protects every single American equally, I will not apologize for standing in the gap." The silence that followed was deafening. Thapar, usually quick with a rebuttal, had none. He shifted in his chair, his expression a mix of frustration and reluctant respect. The clip went viral within hours. Social media exploded with praise for Jasmine Crockett's takedown. Commentators called it one of the most powerful moments in recent congressional history. Students replayed it in classrooms, activists shared it at rallies, and even critics admitted she had made a point impossible to ignore. But the most powerful impact wasn't the applause, the views, or the headlines. It was the people who felt seen. Ordinary citizens who had long believed the system ignored them wrote to her office saying, "For the first time, I felt like someone was speaking directly for me." Jasmine Crockett had not only stood her ground against a federal judge, she had reminded the world that the law is not sacred because it is written. It is sacred only when it is lived, breathed, and applied with justice and compassion. And on that day, with millions watching, she proved that true leadership is not about dodging attacks, but about turning them into a chance to speak the truth.